Good morning, everybody. Go ahead and join on in. Give everyone a few minutes to get in here, and then we'll get going. Sounds like we got people joining. We got two. All right, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started, guys. All right, we got some lights, got some people. Hey, Gabby, good morning. How are you? Hello there. Hello there. All right, we got people joining. Fantastic. How's everybody doing today? Remember, you can chat in the chat bar and say hello. Good. Oh, I'm doing great, Gabby. Out here at my summer camp that I work at over the summer. Great place to make some videos for you guys, and we'll be putting those out in a couple of days. Me and Mr. Furco been working pretty hard for y'all. All right. Okay, up to 5, 6. Hey, Faith, how are you? Hey, Maddie, how are you? All right. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm going to help your mom today shoot that yoga video that they were talking about. Can you still hear me, Maddie? You don't need to see the video too much. Okay. It's just going to be my head doing this. All right. So we're going to get ahead. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go ahead and get started here in a second. About another minute. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin our story where we left off. The Mycenaeans had just collapsed as a civilization, and they were the last great civilization at that time period. People started spreading out, and they started moving back to Greece itself. So if you remember, we had very few people living on Greece itself, on the Peloponnesus. They had mostly been there for a little bit, and then they moved out to the islands. They started getting out and seeing what was going on in other places because for them, it was much better. There were opportunities to farm, there were opportunities to have cattle and sheep, there were opportunities to get away from being stuck in mountainous terrain. And that's really when we think about Greece, we really have to think about how that geography is so incredibly different. I asked you guys in a question last week what civilization was Greece mostly similar to? And in reality, they're really not similar to any of them. All the other civilizations had places to farm. The Egyptians had the Nile. The Chinese had the Yellow and the Yangtze River valleys. All of these locations had places where fertile soil was available. But you don't see that in ancient Greece. They didn't really have that opportunity. So they had to sail to go find it. And they couldn't find it where they were staying. So they got on boats, they took off into the Mediterranean, and they found all these tiny little islands that surround Greece. And sometimes these islands would have water, sometimes they wouldn't. They had to bring in fresh water with them. But they provided a place where they could farm and they could grow crops and they could keep animals. And that made it so much easier for them to live. So, one of the things we really got to be knowledgeable about is that they moved out to places like Crete, to places like Mysia, and they stayed there. But when those civilizations, when the Minoans and the Mysians collapsed, they started moving back to Greece. Now, can anyone remember maybe one of the reasons why the Minoans fell? You can go ahead and chat that into the live chat bar. So, why did the Minoans fell? Anybody? Live chat bar. Why did the Minoans fell? Think about. We got a lot of I don't knows coming through. All right, so think about what resources they had to have in order to make boats. Yeah, they used all their resources there. They cut down the trees. They couldn't make boats without trees, right? They couldn't get out on the water, and that was very important to them. Also, if you guys remember, there was a big earthquake, and yeah, there we go, because a volcano erupted. Absolutely. So a volcano erupted. It created a kind of earthquake in the area, which created a tsunami. And that tsunami wiped out the civilization, destroyed all the towns. In fact, we see that Plato talks about the destruction of Atlantis, and they say directly that this could have been that reference, and that lost city of Atlantis may have been the Minoans, and it was them getting wiped off the face of the earth. But we also see that they were conquered a little bit by the Mysians. They were able to come in and take over quite a bit, and then we see them start heading back to Greece when the Mysians start to go downhill. So they get back to Greece, and now they're on the Peloponnesus, and they start forming city states. In ancient Greek, they referred to those as polises. Polis. We referred to that earlier. So make sure you have that down in your notes. A polis is a Greek city state. So let's talk about life in the Greek city state. All right, people were broken up into different classes depending on how much money they made. So if they were really rich, they were in the aristocrats, and the aristocrats controlled the government. They were nobles. They decided everything in the city state. They were just behind the king. So the king was at the very top. The king always came from an aristocrat family. All right. So the king and the aristocrats were the ruling peoples. Everyone else was below them. All right. Next, we had some merchants. And then below those, we had the farmers because there really wasn't much to farm. So what are they doing really anyway? In that group, you also had sailors and soldiers. So the standard city state had soldiers and sailors. It also had the idea that every citizen can fight. So the city states in Greece didn't really get along with each other. In fact, for the most part, they hated each other. We know that they hated the Spartans so much that they would prepare in the summertime for the Spartans to invade. So they knew the Spartans were going to come back, so they had to get ready for them. They hated each other. They hated each other. And they were competing for limited resources. You got to remember, there's not much area to farm in Greece, and so they were always fighting for that area to farm. So the city-states were mostly walled cities. They controlled a geographical area around them. They were not that big. If we really think about how big they were much smaller than the Mesopotamian city-states. Not that many people lived in these Greek city-states. People depended on fishing primarily for their way of life. In fact, we look at Corinth, which is a city-state located on the Peloponnesus. It actually had two ports. So it had one port on the Aegean Sea and one port on the other side of the country in order to get people out and into the water and fish both sides of Greece. So fishing was very, very important. Trading was very, very important. In fact, it's in this time period, around 800 to 500 BC, that we first see the first minted coin, meaning the first coin used as exchanging money in Greece was started during this time period. So we see the scene is set now. People are starting to get out and about. They are using the ocean as their means for trade, colonization, getting around, and they're starting to develop their own city-states with their own individual characteristics. All right. And out of this is coming to us Greek sculpture and pottery. The coins were minted. We see that this is setting the stage for the classical period of Greece. In fact, they refer to this as the chaos leading into the classical period or into civilization. In the golden age of Greece, in this classical period, which will be from about 500 to 400 BC, what we're going to see is huge Greek victories. We'll see incredible expansion. I mean, this is going to be an incredible time period. So by 490, we're going to see the first invasion of Greece by the Persians. So that's actually what we're going to talk a little bit more about today. So the Persians were a group of people that lived in modern day Turkey, and they were ruled by a king. His name was Darius, and Darius was known as Darius the Great. There we go, another the Great, right? So Darius the Great is going to head out into the world, and he's going to try to start taking over stuff. So he heads down to Mesopotamia, takes that over, starts heading down towards Egypt. He's going to take that over. He's going to start heading towards India. He's going to mess around over there, and he's taking over this huge piece of land. And he sees these Greek city-states are expanding. Not only are they expanding, well, they're heading into his territory, and they're expanding. And they don't want to follow the rules that he's setting for his area. They want slaves. Darius wasn't really big into that. They wanted to have their own forms of government. The Greeks started getting this idea that, hey, people should have a voice in what happens in the world, right? The people being ruled should have a voice. And that's an outrageous idea at this time, especially if you're Darius and you think you're a god. All right. So Darius is going, well, I can't let these guys just sit around here. And we're going to get a lot more into Darius. We're going to get a lot more into the Persians next week. But I wanted to give you guys kind of a reference of where we're going with that. So I have a video coming out for you this Friday. It's going to talk about democracy in ancient Greece and how that rose out of Athens. All right. We do see democracy popping up throughout ancient Greece. It's a different form of government. Whole video talking about that. You're going to learn about that. And then I'll give you guys a PowerPoint that's going to go along with it. But today I wanted to set the stage for how we get from the Minoans to the Mycenaeans to heading in to the Hellenistic period where the Greeks start really building these city-states that we know about. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's where we're heading there. All right. Today on your class page, about 9:30, you're going to find out that we are doing a quiz. So about 9:30, I'm posing a quiz for you guys over this lecture. All right. You're going to be able to answer that on your team page. So you're going to go to your team page. It's going to be under assignments. It's going to be assigned to your class. You can go in there. It's going to be multiple choice. You can go in there and knock that out about 9:30. All right, guys? Okay. So I want to go ahead and answer any questions that there may be. Hello there. Thank you, Raylan. I'm looking for questions, guys. So anyone have any questions? Just type them into the chat bar. Raylan, you can't answer for everybody. When are we learning about Japan? We may get to Japan. It just depends. Again, we got to get through Rome and we got to finish Greece. And we just barely cut the surface with Greece. We got a lot of cool stuff to do. I have a battle project that I want you guys to work on. And I can actually sign you guys an Olympic Games project as well. All right. Anything else? Any questions? Rome. Yes, we're getting into Rome soon. Yes, Faith, I did understand that because I'm going to be doing work with their video. All right. It looks like that's going to be all the questions. When Rome, Raylan, we'll get into Rome probably in April, late April. Yeah, I did see that a lot of you guys got your projects in for the Greek gods. Make sure that those are coming in by Monday, and get those to me. Yes, I got your PowerPoint, Raylan. Yes, hidden mask. When the edible cell project is due tomorrow, if you can get it to us. You can turn it into your class page on Mr. Furco's class page. So the way to turn in your project, guys, is pretty simple. What you're going to do, and I'm going to kind of walk you through this. What you're going to do is when you get onto Microsoft Teams and you go to your Teams, what I did for all of my pages, and thank you for reminding me of this because I really want to go over this with you guys. So on my page, I have different chat channels. So a channel is where I can communicate with you and you can communicate with me. All right. On the main channel, it says general, it calls it the general channel. To figure out what channel you're in, when you get to your team page, look to the left. You'll see a picture icon underneath that. It will say Cantelou History Class. I'm looking at Cantelou History Class 3 right now. Under that, it says General, and then it says Student Communication Channel. All right. There's also a Student Turn-in Work channel. If you click on the Student Turn-in Work channel, you guys have the rights to go in there and turn your work in. So if you have a project, you can attach it using a little paper clip. You can save it as a file and put it in there. You can take a picture of it and put it in there, and I can look at it that way. And then also, I gave you guys a student communication channel. You can click on that, and you guys can actually talk to each other. Okay, so that's an opportunity for you guys to talk to each other within my class. The general page is for me to give you guys announcements about assignments and things that are coming up. All right. So I hope that helps explain that. Any questions about that? All right. I already sent it to you. Same. He said Friday. Good, good, good. I don't know why there's so many cookies and sweets in this chat. We don't need those right now. I sent my Greek God project through Edmodo a while ago. Yeah, Gabby, I got it through Edmodo. That's fine. Yes. So Greek Gods is due Monday. Sorry, Greek Gods is Monday. The science project, the edible cell, is due on Friday. Yes, hidden mask, you have a question. Yes, Val, we got that. Thank you. No, the history project is due Monday. The science project is due Friday. Mr. Fergo told you it was due Monday? Okay, then we'll go with Monday. Just get it in between either Monday or Friday. No, you can, Hannah, yeah, you're fine. Yes, you have to do your write-up with it, Hannah. You can send me a picture of that. Madison Bikers did a really good job getting it out there. You can look, I'll put that up on my turn-in work. You can take a look at that. All right. You're asking about what science project you haven't checked my YouTube page, which reminds me, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and get engaged. All right, I'm gonna be back on hit that notification bell. I'm gonna get back on YouTube later today from about 1 to 2. And if you have any more questions, it's a great time to get a hold of me. I'll be just in live. I'm not going to be teaching anything, just waiting for you guys to get in there. All right, guys, that is it for me. I'm going to be signing out of here. Any more questions before I go? All right, that looks like it, guys. Have a wonderful day. Are we still going to have the FSA? No, the FSA was canceled. All right. Okay, you have a question. Bye, Jordan. Have a nice day, guys. I don't know who OGOWO is. I don't know whose project I'm receiving. Bye, guys. Bye. Hey, Viral. No, Mia, the FSA was canceled. OGOWO. Okay, yeah, here. Yes, I did receive your project. All right, guys. Have a great day. Mike Homer, and make sure that you are signing in by 8:30 so I can take attendance. Doing good, Beryl. Hey, Beryl, we already finished the video, so you're going to have to go back and watch this in post. All right. So when I hit end stream, you're going to be able to watch it afterwards. All right, guys. Have a good one. Yes, Caitlin, I got yours. Bye.